Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us on This Week in the Valley. Our show features people who are making a difference and events taking place all over the area. I'm Donna Bell.
And I'm Darren Elazaris. We have another exciting show for you. Joining us a bit later are Donnie Wyatt to talk about an important April ballot issue for Macon County R1 School District, and Gene Jones and Lana McQuitty share news about some changes with Agape Cafe.
March Madness is coming to a close. Spring has arrived, and that is according to the calendar. The great celebration of Easter is over, and the NCAA tournament is dwindling to the Final Four, soon to award just one team as NCAA champ.
We've nearly forgotten about losing that hour for daylight saving time as we enjoy the longer evenings, and St. Patrick's Day is but a memory. As we turn the page of the calendar, we welcome April showers and voting.
Whether you're a high school senior or a senior citizen, a secretary or CEO, Election Day, April 5th, is every registered voter's opportunity to weigh in on the issues in your area by voting.
Some may think that their vote for president may be a grain of sand on the beach, but your local votes can be rocks in a bucket, and local elections are the ones that have the most significant impact on your daily life.
Voting makes you curious. It makes you want to find out about candidates and issues so you can make an educated decision about your position. You listen to other people's reasoning.
Voting is your responsibility. We've oftentimes heard the saying, if you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain.
Well, that sounds witty, and at times I'm sure people wish it were true. The fact is that we all have the right to complain, whether we vote or not. Voting is not a requirement, but it is a responsibility. It's our obligation, and it's part of a bigger picture.
While the 2016 presidential election is still 8 months away, and by the looks of it, it may be a fierce battle to the end, we cannot ignore the importance next Tuesday is for our communities.
Tuesday, April 5th, voters in our area will be heading to the polls to cast their vote in the spring election. Several towns in our area will be voting on school board candidates, ballot issues, bond issues, and much more.
Voters in the Macon School District will have an opportunity to vote on a proposed levy. Our first guest, Donnie Wyatt with the Macon County R1 School District, joins Donna in the studio to talk about Proposition Kids.
Voters in Macon have many decisions to make this general election, and it's important to be informed. I'm so pleased to have Donnie Wyatt join us. Donnie is the president of the school board and very passionate about this particular subject.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to this April 5th when the voters of the Macon School District get to cast their vote on Proposition Kids, and I appreciate you having us out today.
Oh, well, sure. So we need to know the purpose of the 89-cent operating levy proposal.
Sure. Good question. Purpose of the 89-cent levy proposal is to be able to do the projects which we've submitted, which is going to be on the ballot, and those consist of new classrooms, storm shelter for all the staff and students at the Macon R1 School District, as well as security and safety upgrades.
Those are all very important, and especially in the day in which we live and things that happen at particular schools that you want to protect your kids from.
Correct, yeah. It's an ever-changing world we live in. Unfortunately, every time you turn the news on anymore, you hear some tragedy in a small town or even a city, and unfortunately, it's having an impact on our kids, and we have to be proactive. We don't want to wait for something to happen. We want to beat it off before it does, and all we can do is the best we can do.
Mm-hmm. And it just as important is the education that they're receiving in the space and what they need in order to learn.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things right now that we currently deal with, getting away from the storm shelter issue, if you will, to the classrooms. We've got several classrooms up there that are basically what would be used for is closets, storage rooms, and it's really kind of embarrassing when you go around and especially when the kids are in there every day with a teacher and they're in these little bitty tight spaces and expected to learn with the amount of stuff that they're having to learn today that I had no idea when I was in school. It seemed like it was a lot. Well, it was a lot different when I was in school compared to what they've got to get now. It's unbelievable. And so the new classrooms are not all brand new. We're not adding 14 new classrooms. They're going to be new to us. They're more acceptable to larger classrooms, if you will, more pupils in there to have more room instead of a closet space. As you know, we've got a campus south of Macon, which is our preschool program, and they call that our nuts and bolts, as well as our preschool. And to get those folks back on campus with an administrator, a nurse, and for safety and security, to move them back on, we have to add classrooms. So we're not adding new classrooms, if you will. We've already got existing. They're going to be new to us and new to the taxpayer and new to the district, but they're just replacing what we're using right now.
Well, very good. So you did try this last year. How is this different from last year's proposal?
Well, that's a good question. Last year, you are correct. We did try this last year. Last year was a bond. This year is a levy issue. The difference between the two, which I think after researching this over the last year and coming up with a levy issue versus a bond issue, this year is a lot better as far as for the taxpayer. And that being said, is last year the bond, if it were to pass, it would have been done in 2 payments. The first payment would have come out when the bond passed. The second one, approximately 5 to 6 years down the road. Looking at that, as everybody knows, construction costs rise, several materials rise, and looking at that now, it would have been like, oh my, we could end up with a project possibly not completely done. Versus a levy issue, 89 cents when it passes, it will enable us to get all the money up front, get all the what we've proposed in the proposal done within 3.5 years, pay that down, and then the district has every year we have to set, the district has to set the levy. And as we pay that down, we can roll that levy back. So it's not something that's permanent. The district has the option every year to lower that levy. With this levy, 89 cents passes, the district cannot go over that levy. It has to stay at that levy or below. So with this proposal with a levy this year, again, as we pay this down, can roll that back. And then at the time we get that paid off, the district will have really something to be proud of in the students of Macon R1.
Absolutely. So there's some opposition. What's the main concern with the opposition?
Well,
that you know
a lot of misinformation, and I don't oppose anybody that opposes this. That is their right, and I respect their right and their vote. I just wish that the folks that are opposing this would get the facts first. As you know, we're having several open houses and allowing the community to come in to take a tour of the complete facility if they want and see what we're talking about. The current board that we have right now, we're a very open board. And we don't want it to appear that we're trying to hide anything or pull anything over anyone's eyes. We want you to come in and get the facts. I want you to see the facility and see what we're talking about, what we see on a daily basis and having to deal with.
I actually spoke with someone that took a tour of the facility, and she said she was shocked, just completely surprised.
Yeah. I remember when I first got elected to the school board here in Macon, and one of the first things they do is they take you on a tour of the facility. And having born and raised here in Macon and graduated from Macon, you remembered how it was in elementary, and then when you go back and you take a tour of the facility and actually realize how bad a shape it's in, and where we got kids, we're actually doing title reading out in the hallway, and how can you concentrate, for the kids that, have special needs and whatnot. And that's just not right. We can do better than that. The last time a levy was passed in Macon R1 School District was 1989, was the last time we've had a levy at that time. And the school board over the past years, have rolled that back, and that gets us to where we're at today, that we've got a facility that is basically falling apart. I'm not exaggerating any. Again, come up and look at the facility, you can see with your own eyes that we've got a facility that, quite frankly, we operate off of a budget that we get state money, get some federal, and we get taxpayer money here locally. And you have to be able to make salaries, you have to be able to pay all the light bill, utilities, the whole 9 yards, and transportation, etc. You have to do that out of that, and so that you don't have the funds, rather, to be able to take on a big project, such as adding a classroom or a safety room, if you will.
And if you'd done a little bit along the way, it would be different. But right now, you're at a point where you need to do a whole bunch of things.
Right. Something near and dear to all of us, and we all know that children are very precious, and they're God's precious gift, and we've got to take care of them. And as you know, in recent history and close to home, as a matter of fact, communities have been hit by tornadoes, and there's great tragedy there that quite frankly I don't want to see any area have, let alone Macon R1 School District. And that's one of the reasons why we went for this safe room aspect. It's currently going to be where the 4th and 5th grade wing is, also known to local people around here as the Butler Building. And that building was built as a temporary facility, and it's unfortunately, the way he lived past 30 years, and it's in bad need of repair. So the proposal was to put the safe room in that spot there. With the design of the safe room, instead of just building a big facility just to house a bunch of people or get a bunch of kids and students and parents and faculty and staff in there, it's designed with classrooms in it. So we can utilize extra classrooms that were now elementaries and middle school. We can move those back to the elementary, and it'll be an upper and lower level to be able to house those with a multi-purpose room to be able to fit everybody in. So we're actually getting several uses out of something that can be very beneficial in the fact that something catastrophic happens to our community.
Oh, it's very important. Very
Absolutely,
important.
absolutely.
So you're working hard to get the word out because it is important to be an educated voter.
You bet.
And there's a lot of great things that are in the proposal. So it's good to know what it is you're voting on.
Right, absolutely.
So what will it take to pass?
Takes a simple majority with a levy issue. So 50 plus 1, if you will, is what it's going to take to pass a levy issue. And, you know, before we get to that point, you know, again, you mentioned it, to get people educated. At the end of the day, if they still want to vote no, that's their right, and I respect that. But first and foremost, I would like those folks to come into the facility. We've got a open house coming up here March 31st, starts at 6 p.m., and we're going to have tours every 30 minutes and answer questions that they may have at that point in time. We've got all the necessary people there to be able to answer those questions. And so that way you leave the facility very informed and then be able to make your own decision after that.
So that's March 31st at what time?
6 p.m. is
6
when we
p.m.
start
And
tours.
meet
Yes.
at the-
Meet at the VOTEC Career Center there in the Commons area, and then we'll start the tours from there.
That's very good. Well, I know you're very passionate about this, so I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us the ins and the outs of the Proposition Kids, and just everybody
You know,
needs to get
I
out
would
and
like
vote.
to add one thing, and
Oh,
I don't mean to
absolutely.
interrupt. I know one of the things several times keep getting brought up is adding staff and adding more teachers and things, and I can't stress that enough, that is total false. What we're doing is replacing what we've got, and there will be nobody else hired. You know, so I want people to rest assured that this is not a levy issue that is proposed to hire people and for other unnecessary things. If people are concerned about, okay, if this thing passes, you know, we're concerned about how the school board or the district will spend the funds. Well, on the ballot that you read before you vote, any school board at that point in time cannot waver from that ballot. What's on that ballot, what the folks vote on, is what it has to be. And in that ballot's very detailed, every phase of it. So I just wanted to add that.
Oh,
So
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. That's really good to know.
you bet.
Any final words for the voters?
No, I just want to reiterate what I've said here before, is that we want you folks to get out and come to our open house, ask questions. Feel free to call a board member, committee member, and get the good facts first before you make a decision, because our children are very important to us, everybody in this community, and they're our future. They're our future leaders, and we have to take care of them and do the best we can to do that. So I appreciate your vote coming up here in April 5th.
Donnie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Sure thing.